My name is Dan Snow. I'm the operations manager for Media City. I've been here over 5 years. I started off just scheduling and then sort of moved up to oversee all operations in the facility. My background, I went to college in San Diego, UC San Diego. I had a degree in communications. And then I got out of that, moved back to Los Angeles, did low-budget punk rock music videos for 2 years, 3 years, trying to learn all that stuff, so I ended up producing a lot of those. And then ran out of money. Went to work, worked in a restaurant, did a bunch of other stuff, did a couple low-budget features, ran out of money again. Then I caught on as a runner, just driving tapes around town for a small sound house in Hollywood. And then that basically led me to here, because from that I learned different aspects of post. Within a couple years I was scheduling for that company, and then I was sound supervising for shows. And then through different relations ended up knowing a person that came over to work at Media City Sound, and then moved over from that point. My job as operations manager is basically make sure everyone's happy. I can't sit down at a computer and actually run Pro Tools. I'm not a mixer, not an editor, I'm not a recordist, but I oversee all the scheduling, I do all the deals with the clients, I oversee all the technical aspects of deliverables so that people know what they need. That's always a big part of it. And basically sort of just wait for any problems to come up. And that's sort of what my day is. And then solve those problems. We do a ton of shows for Animal Planet. We do shows for the networks. We did Weakest Link. We did shows like Celebrity Boot Camp, a lot of reality stuff. So we're dealing with a lot of production audio problems and stuff like that. But it's mostly, I'd say 90%, cable TV, Discovery Channel, History Channel, stuff like that. Media City has, I would say, probably 10 different types of areas, and it's all in regards to, if you think about a show, just what it takes to make the sound for a television show. And Media City does not deal with any of the music stuff. It just deals with the audio, with audio post. So you could have, starting from the top, there's the mixers, which are the final mix down of the show. They're with the clients. They're making sure that everything's perfect, because that's the audio that goes on to the show master, and then it leaves. So that's like, we have 4 or 5 of those people. Then we have editors, which basically clean up everything, add sound effects, edit voiceover and stuff like that. And there's probably 6 or 7 of those people. Then we have recordists that record voiceover. We have people that work in the machine room, so that when a show comes in, we digitize it or make dubs of it for everyone to work on. Then we have assistants that basically just do whatever we want, and hopefully they're learning in the process. When I hire someone, it's more just about their energy, because anyone that's coming in here has no idea how we work. And because we do things sort of differently. We do a huge volume of shows, and we want every show to be perfect. So we have to split it up, and each show has to go through a process. So all the editors work in a way that most editors don't work around town, and the mixers are the same way. So we sort of schedule things, and everything goes through checkpoints. I don't expect someone to come in and think they know anything. But I want them to be honest, and I want them to show energy, and just have that, willingness to learn. And, because a lot of the guys that have been here, they've been here for a long time, but when they first started, they were working whatever it took. They would work 100 hours a week just to get the opportunity. So you want someone who's hungry and really has the desire to just stay and figure everything out. Because we're very open to teaching people. The rooms are always open. Whenever people want to jump in, they can get their hands on it and stuff. And all the guys here love to teach people how to do stuff. Yeah, personality with employees and with client interaction is very important, because you can go anywhere in town and get the technical aspects of the job done. And you can get it done for probably a cheaper price, because there's always people willing to do it for less or whatever. So what sets this place apart is the personality and just the interaction between the client and the engineer, or with the assistant, or with the editor, or with anybody, or with myself. And it's like, I keep telling my employees, you have to remember that each producer's project, they've been living with this project for a year, 6 months. It's their baby, it's their life. And we do, even though we do like 20 shows a week, you still have to remember that you have to have the right attitude. Like, that this is the first show you've ever worked on, or this is the best show you've ever worked on, because that's what the producer is bringing to the table. And all of our employees have been great at doing that. And we just try to constantly reinforce that attitude. To break into the business, you have to assume that you're going to be an assistant for a year. And basically, you're getting coffee. You're setting up microphones, which is important. You're basically just learning how a studio works. And once I hire someone, they just sort of do their own thing. I throw them in there. I check back with the mixers and the people that are telling them what to do and say, okay, how's this person doing? Half the time, oh, this person's great. This person's ready to edit in 6 months. Give them something small. Then the other half, it's like, well, this person might not be getting it. You should, talk to them and try to steer them in a specific direction. We have a pretty good success ratio of assistants being hired and then moving into actual positions, editor, mixer, whatever, And then the ones that don't do it, they just probably realize that they don't like post, which is fine. But you don't know until you go through it, So it's all about coming in, being willing to do anything for any, like getting coffee, going to get lunches, taking out the garbage, whatever. For that, you do that for the trade-off for the opportunity to be able to come in on the weekend, con one of the mixers to come in and meet you and say, hey, look, what am I doing here? Am I doing this right? Am I doing this wrong? I expect them to have a college degree. That's usually been sort of where we draw the line, at least me personally, just because I know about what I learned. In college, I didn't learn anything technical. I learned how to schedule my time. You learn just a lot of life lessons and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure that everyone that I've hired has at least been through college and graduated college. Some of them go to specialty like the Los Angeles Recording Workshop, for instance. They'll go and they'll have a special program, and that shows that's the same thing. It shows it like a dedication. Okay, this kid spent 400 hours learning about Pro Tools. It's like, okay, I'd hire that person. I personally think twice when someone says, oh, I'm really a musician and I really want to get into music, but I thought I would try post and see what that's all about, because it almost seems like they're settling for audio instead of music. And that's just me. Like, I see that coming a mile away. If you look at someone's resume or whatever and they're just like, I want to be a composer and I want to do this, 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 and this, but I thought I'd see what the audio post world is all about. Like, there's already a line of people that are interested in audio post. So they're already way ahead of those people. Music is their primary thing, and then falling back to audio post just doesn't really work, because there's already people that are super interested in it. For me, when I hire someone, it's just timing. I always have a pile of resumes on my desk, and then when one of my assistants takes off, moves on, I need someone else, I just look at the pile, and I say, oh yeah, this kid called me, or whatever, and go through and look, and then we'll bring him in for a lengthy interviewing process. So like, I'll interview him, Sam will interview him, the lead engineer. So it's like, you want to see what you think they might be capable of, But yeah, after that, it's just sending out resumes and calling people on the phone. And resumes are important, and a lot of the ones that I see, though, they have that first paragraph, which is just like garbage, to further my something. It's the same paragraph you read over and over again, and it's just torn from the same book, but it's just worded differently. So those always sort of make me laugh. But it's like, I want to see someone that says, like, I want to have a career in audio post, because obviously it's me. I'm being selfish about this, but if it's someone that I'm looking for and I look down and say, okay, I'll talk to this person, I'll talk to this guy, I'll talk to this girl. I want this, this is what I know, this is what I think I know, and it'll say Pro Tools and it'll say all these other things, and this is what I've done. It can be just one page, very simple, but you want to see something that caters to your business, on that resume. About audio post is a pretty small part of the industry, and it's pretty geeky, and there's math, and you got to know a lot of technical stuff. So you have to really chase it down. You have to do an internship. You have to be a production assistant that hangs around for the post area. Like if you catch on with a TV show, you have to bug that producer and say, look, I really want to work. I want to be a post PA. So you just have to educate yourself, basically, because then by doing that, you find out which other aspects there are. A lot of people don't know that, okay, you could be a dialogue editor and you can make a great living. I could never do it because it would drive me crazy. But there's guys that sit there with headphones and all they do is just chop up dialogue all day. And you can do that and you can have a great, great career. But until some people might do that and they would do it for a day and they're like, if I do this anymore, I'm going to go crazy. So you have to educate yourself on the different aspects of it, I think, is the most important. In audio post, you have to be able to work you have to balance the time and creativity, which is always the hardest thing to do. I've had editors come in here, they're the best sound designers in the world, but I put them on something where they have to cut effects for a television show, and it's like I have a specific amount of time where they can finish that. And they come back, and I come back the next day, and they're like a minute in, where they're supposed to be 20 minutes in. So it's about learning, how long it takes to do something, picking your battles, and being responsible for like, okay, I know that I have this amount of time to do something. But because with sound design, it's like music. It's out there, it's out there in the world. You can be as creative as you want, but this is a business, and you have a timeline, and you have to get things done, and you still have to make it as good as it can possibly be. So it's always that fine line of like knowing when to move on, knowing when it's done, and that's something that you just learn through feedback, over the years, because you could spend forever on something.